It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
So much to cover, so little time, because this is your favorite 15-minute podcast, the Sean Widmer Podcast. Hi, I'm Sean. Thank you for checking out the podcast, whether you're listening, watching, whatever it may be. I got thoughts on how I'm listening to stuff. We're going to get into that here at the end. I want to talk about being back, baby. I'm feeling back, baby. So we're gonna talk about being back in the vehicle world, and then we got to kick off with some racing. We got to kick off with some racing because I'm in Kentucky and we're racing. But before all of that, this doesn't count. This is bonus material at the beginning of the podcast. My algorithm on YouTube has been shattered. I was dialed on my algorithm. I was dialed. It was stuff that I really like. A lot of board game stuff. My hat is struggling today if you're watching the video. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My head is struggling, really. I had a board game situation. I had a lot of NBA playoffs, a lot of NBA highlights. My YouTube algorithm was so locked in. And it's been changing all over the place, just nonstop. All sorts of little things I kind of got into that I watched just enough videos about where I think YouTube hit a point where they're like, your algorithm is so fine-tuned. We've actually shown you all of the videos you could possibly want to watch for your niche subjects. And once I just cracked the door open a little to an interest elsewhere, YouTube was like, here is a waterfall, a Niagara Falls style waterfall of videos. And one of them that has come through, one genre is these camping videos. And I love camping. If you know me, you know I love camping. These camping videos where people go out. A couple of them are just silence. One of the guys he's really interesting. His videos are just the sounds of like nature and rain and his dog and the sounds of him cooking, but he doesn't speak at all. Anything he wants said, he puts captions on the bottom. So if there's a sponsor, like there was a sponsor for one of them that I watched, and it's just words on the bottom. So it's 30 minutes, these camping videos. He has elaborate setups. They're insane. I think it takes him a long time to set up camp, but he's by himself, and what else are you going to do? And his cooking setup is crazy. He's got a tent with a second floor that he sleeps on that he makes. Anyways, camping videos have just hit me in a crazy way, and I'm loving them. And I just watched way too many of them. So shout out to the YouTube algorithm. I cracked the door open a little to the world we're going to talk about when I say we're back. We're going to get to that. And once I did that, the floodgates have opened. Okay, what about racing? Well, this was the Kentucky Derby weekend. Congratulations to everybody who celebrated. Congrats to those who partook in the Kentucky Derby. We watched it here at my house. My buddy Mike came over. It was Mike, the kids, and me. Olivia was very excited about it because she learned about the Kentucky Derby at school on Friday, so she was all in. So we're picking our horses before the race starts, and I start looking at them, and I'm like, okay, well, which ones are from the Lexington area? There's a horse named Into Mischief that is like the dad of all these horses, right? The stud fees on this guy are crazy. He lives right down the road from us. So I was like, maybe I'll do one of those. So I'm starting to look. Well, my cousins, Ryan, Scott, and I are extremely superstitious when it comes to numbers, okay? And so one of our favorite numbers, we have three very favorite numbers, and one of them is 19. And 19 was Keyshawn Johnson's number, the wide receiver, played a long time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he won a Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he was unbelievable in Madden 2001. So we fell in love with Keyshawn Johnson. He's number 19. We just use that number for everything. The very first time I ever played roulette, Ryan and I went out to Northern Quest Resort and Casino back in Spokane, and we saw roulette. We had played a little bit of it in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I'm like, look, I got $5. Let's put it on red 19 for Keyshawn. And it hit. Of course it did. It was like $175. So pretty excited about that. And that was nice. So that was just, the power numbers are there. We've got like 3 or 4 of them that we love, and 19's a crucial one. So I'm looking at these horses, and I'm looking at number 2, I'm looking at number 6, and there's someone wearing 19. Now, Ryan Scott and I also, when we were very young, probably, I think I was maybe in 6th or 7th grade, we started a band in my grandparents' basement where we would bash on pots and pans. They had a piano down there we didn't know how to play. We just hammer the piano, hammer the drums, sing into an old tape recorder they had, and we had a band called the Golden Flames. All right, the Golden Flames. And so I'm looking at these horses, and I see number 19, and it's golden tempo. And I text immediately Ryan and Scott. I said, you guys, this is the easiest Kentucky Derby to predict of all time. Golden tempo. Golden, half of our band name. 19, our favorite number. This is a match made in heaven. So we were talking. I'm like, look, guys, if we put if we can come up with $100,000 and we put it on this horse, we'll have $2.5 million in a couple hours. So I'm good. Scott's like, I'm good for $100. I'm like, I'm good for 20. And so Ryan, you owe us like $90-some thousand. So if you can just come up with that, we're good, and we'll be millionaires. So we're joking about it. And as the race gets closer, I'm like, well, I've got to put something on this horse. So I try to get this horse racing gambling app to work on my phone that my Uncle Richard and his uncle. I never know what you're supposed to say about that. He's Uncle Richard to me. He is my wife's uncle. It's my mother-in-law's. Here, let's just do the whole thing. My mother-in-law's sister married Richard. All right, so Uncle Richard. Is he my uncle? I don't know. I want him to be. I love him, so I want him to be. I want him to be as close to family as possible. Anyways, he had got me into this, showed me this app when we went to Keeneland one time, and so we were using it to gamble on horses. So I'm trying to log in. I can't get in. I'm like, dang it. Well, then now that I can't get into the app, I'm like, well, now I have to, because this is such a lock that the gambling app knows I'm coming for it. It doesn't want me in. So I finally just text Uncle Richard, and I'm like, look, I'm going to Venmo you some money. Can you put it on Golden Tempo? And he was like, yeah, you're the only one who's betting on that horse in this group he was watching with. And what do you know? What do you know? Golden Tempo from 18th place around the last turn. Zig, zag, bob, weave, up the middle. Here we go, running up to the finish line and winning. So it's a great Kentucky Derby. Great Kentucky Derby, Golden Tempo, a lock. I wish I could have shared it with the world early. I should have tweeted it out or something. Do people still? I don't think anyone reads my tweets anymore. I'm not on it ever. Not that I was good when I was on it. But I feel bad that I didn't share that. So Golden Tempo wins the Kentucky Derby, and I'm a Kentuckian now. I know horses, big into horse racing. So I've been pretty good at predicting. Outside of one, I thought the Denver Nuggets were going to come back and win their series. I've been good at the NBA playoffs and horse racing. That's my bread and butter. Why am I back? I mentioned it at the top. Why am I back? Well, Friday was a great day in the Widmer household for me, because we finally got the truck, my pickup, excuse me. Sorry, Garrett. We got it replaced. The truck a couple months ago totaled, and got all the insurance money, got the money from the place. There was like money on money we were waiting for. Insurance money. Then there was another little lump of money, a grouping of money. And then there was like a warranty that I had where there was, I don't know how it works. I just know there was check on check on check. I think there was 3 different checks we were waiting for. And so we got the third one, and it was time to go car shopping. And my wife went out. My wife wanted to go out. She has more patience than I do. She's also a better negotiator than I am. And she went out while I had the kids, and she was sending me pictures of vehicles. And Huck and I are sitting on the couch, and when she's sending them, Huck's looking at them, I'm looking at them. And there was a Chevy Silverado that we really liked. Really great truck. And she sent me a picture. I'm like, yeah, I never thought I'd be a pickup guy. I got my pickup 4 or 5 years ago. Loved it. It was great. And I loved it. Then she sent me the next picture. And there she was. And the 22-year-old in me who fell in love with these. Well, I fell in love with these when I was a teenager, and then Jeff Heineman back in Spokane had one, and my love of these as a dream of never getting to be in one as a teenager, into Jeff letting me drive in his a bunch when we were friends in our early 20s, to then me owning a variety of one for a very long time in my 30s, late 20s into my 30s. I got a Jeep Wrangler, and I could not be happier. It's so, I'm not a car guy, okay? I'm not a car guy, and I know there's, plenty of people who are like, why didn't you get a real man's car? Okay, yeah, fair enough. I love them. They're my favorite car. They're the only car I like. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about pickups. I don't care about muscle cars, speed. I just like Jeeps. And so I had one forever. I loved my Jeep. When I sold it, I cried. Like real tears. I'm also pathetic and emotional. But Anna sent the picture. She goes, look, I like this. She's like, I'd rather have the pickup, but I know you're going to want the Jeep. And she's a great team player, wife of the year. She's like, look, if you want it, you think it's going to work, can you get 3 car seats in the back? I said, absolutely. Did a little research. Absolutely. Let's do it. So we got it. And it's a black Jeep Wrangler. It's a 4-door. My last one was 2 doors. And I didn't realize how much I missed my old Jeep. I didn't realize it. I knew I missed it. I think a lot of what happened with my Jeep, it was during COVID when I sold it. We had just had Olivia. So much was going on, and it was I couldn't get it started. I knew that I couldn't use it because we had kids, and there was no way we could have a car seat in it. It was taking up space in the garage. It wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't using it. And finally, I was just like, I need it to get out of here. I sold it for nothing to my buddy Warren, who took it out and sold it to one of his buddies. And I don't think I ever really compartmentalized how much that vehicle meant to me. I got in this Jeep, and I felt like part of my soul returned to me. I know that's weird, and I know that's dumb, and it's silly, but it's real. I started driving around, and I was like, oh, I am. This was a bigger deal than I thought it was. And so it's just a car, right? It's just a car. It's silly. Can't take them with you, but it's so fun. I love it. And so now I'm super excited about it. I'm excited. Once we get a bunch of nice days in a row, I'm excited to take the top off of it. I'm excited to rip the doors off of it. I think my kids are going to think it's awesome. It has high potential to be one of those vehicles that when we strip it down, we'll keep the back doors on in case my wife is listening. Don't worry. But it has this high potential to be this vehicle that Olivia, Huck, and Woods remember from their childhood, and hopefully, longer, of summers in the Jeep and going camping in the Jeep and taking the top off. Dad takes the doors off. They whine about not being able to take their doors off. And just great memories made in a car that I think is super special and that I like. So we're back in the game. Sorry, Garrett, wasn't a pickup. Got myself a Jeep. Very excited about it. And now I get to sit here and look at all the peripherals that I can't afford and just be like, man, when I win the lottery, when I actually bet significant money on Golden Tempo to win the Kentucky Derby, I'm going to get so many cool accessories for the Jeep. So many cool accessories. All right. This is the portion of the program where we do Kelly's What Are You Into? But I don't know if I'm into it yet. I'm going to play it because Kelly deserves the audio.
Kelly's What Are You Into?
There it was. Kelly's What Are You Into? Thank you, Kelly, for being the unofficial sponsor. There's the unofficial. I'm trying to remember why they were the official sponsor. Whistlepunk was going to be the unofficial. What was I going to say? I had something, and I can't remember what it is now. I had something that I needed passed on to the owners of Whistlepunk. And when I remember it, I'll write it down. And I guess they'll get another sponsorship later this week. Whistlepunk, the unofficial sponsor. Kelly, the unofficial sponsor of Kelly's What Are You Into? And I'm hoping I get into it. I'm making this is why you need to go to Whistlepunk. Okay, so I'm making a weird change. And part of it is financial, and part of it is intrigue. And it's kind of a killer combo. And I think I'm going to regret it and switch right back. But I've decided I am not going to be a Spotify user anymore. I'm not going to be a Spotify user anymore. I'm going to try YouTube Music. So YouTube Music is going to be where you find me. I'm leaving Spotify. Will I stay gone? I don't know. I will say I was messing around with YouTube Music today. All of the bands that I like had all their albums there. But I will say when we were driving with the kids and Huck asked for a couple songs, I noticed some grayed out. And I was like, ooh, that's not a good look. So for me, selfishly, the bands I like, all their music was there. But it will be a problem if there are artists who are missing huge chunks of their library. That would be problematic. But I'm making the change. I guess for those of you who are streaming on something like that on YouTube Music, do you like it? Am I going to be back to Spotify next month? And the reason you need to go into Whistlepunk is to find Matt won't care at all. One of the guys who runs Whistlepunk. It's Matt's baby. Matt and Daniela, they own the place, and Matt is the brew master there, and Daniela does bartend at, I don't know if both locations, but I'm sure downtown. And if you go in there and see her, just let her know that Sean wants her to know that she doesn't need to worry about Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year, where every year when I post my Spotify Wrapped, she's the first person to comment and is just throwing shade at me for loving Weezer, Reliant K, and Switchfoot. Those are my top 3 most listened to bands every year. Every year I post it. It's Weezer, Reliant K, Switchfoot, in either that order or some kind of order of those 3 bands. And she is the first to message me and rip me for not venturing out of the music world. But this year she doesn't have to worry because I don't think they do YouTube Music Wrapped. And so I won't be doing Spotify Wrapped. So you're welcome, Daniela. Everyone go to Whistlepunk. Tell her she's welcome. See if it gets you a free beers for life. Okay, YouTube Music, though, I'm going to give it a try. We're going to see what happens with it. It's funny, as I started to do that, I kind of was thinking about it. My cousin Scott mentioned that he's doing YouTube Music, and I was like, yeah, I've thought about it enough. He brought it up. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Well, I mean, now I'm just looking at changing everything. I got a new vehicle back in that world. I got a new music streaming service that I'm using. So immediately I was like, what other things am I using that I need to try other things on? Navigation is always one that I'm flip-flopping on. Do I use Apple Maps? Do I use Waze? I'm a Google Maps guy. That's normally what I use, but do I need to stray away from it? So I watched a bunch of videos today, which also opened the doors to more videos in my YouTube algorithm. I watched a couple videos on what's the best navigation app, and there's no real decisive answer, which sucks. I did it for CarPlay, so a lot of people were like, Apple Maps, because it's incorporated with CarPlay on an iPhone, so it just kind of works well. But I don't know. I think I'm a Google Maps guy. I think I'm going to stick to it, but who knows? I'm making a lot of changes, so we'll see. I did mention my algorithm going away. I was going to tie it into why it's been changing. I've been looking up, the last Jeep I had was in 1995. They've had some upgrades since 1995 in the Jeep Wrangler world. And so I was kind of looking at like, okay, what are some of the features I might not know about in the new ones? And there's some cool stuff going on. But that opened up Jeep World, and Jeep World immediately turns into off-roading and camping world. And that's why I clicked on a couple Jeep camping videos. That led to camping videos. That led to me now watching 2 hours of camping videos on one screen while I was watching the Cavaliers and the Raptors on the other. All right, there you go. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It is good to be here on a Monday as a Jeep guy again. Jeep Wave is back, which is kind of fun. Love that. I feel like I had stories about it. If I had stories about it, I will bring them up on Wednesday. But thank you for listening to your favorite 15-minute podcast. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.